until 3 o'clock in the morning. Then they broke up. September and the 28th of September.
Mrs. Hobby and gentlemen, as you know, I asked you to come here this evening so that we could immediately hear a first-hand report from the Secretary of State regarding the negotiations that have just been going on in Europe and the outcome of those negotiations. I think it is extremely important that all of us have a clear understanding of what was accomplished and the circumstances under which it was done and what it will probably mean. Having determined upon this, when request was made to me that we open this meeting to the television companies, the radio companies, and the newsreels, it suddenly occurred to me that for tonight, there's one subject, a very special one, about which to talk, and one in which the American people, all of them, without regard to race or party or creed or color or any other thing, will want to hear.
If we can get this agreement through. Now, Mr. President, you've said many times that we had to be, you wanted us to see us play the part of a good partner. And of course, partnership is a two-sided affair. And I think that what has happened during these last few weeks has demonstrated that there's a basis for a good partnership on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean. And I want to say one other thing, Mr. President, that as we met there in these gatherings, there was a sense of your spirit being there. Everybody knows that you have understood, as few have, the need for Western European unity, as you've made an immense contribution to it.
Areas in Europe for a long time, almost 100 years.
Mrs. Hobby, it was a tough problem. It was the last problem to be solved, and you can see from the way it was solved how hard it was to get it solved. First place, it was really only a problem directly between France and Germany. It didn't really concern the rest of us and these other arrangements, but the French had taken the position that they wouldn't sign any of these other agreements unless the SAR problem was solved. And it dragged on and on. We got within about 24 hours of the date when all these things were supposed to be signed up, and there wasn't any agreement. Then on Friday night, Chancellor Adenauer and Mr. Mendes-France went into a session, and they started at 10 o'clock Friday evening, and they sat together until 3 o'clock in the morning. Then they broke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, still turning some of their work over to these famous hard-working experts. They took a few hours of repose. They went back again into session the first thing Saturday morning, and they were still in session. And when we gathered at the Quai d'Orsay for the first signing of these things on early in the afternoon, 3 o'clock, we didn't know at that time whether they'd come to an agreement or not, or whether they're all going to blow up. And you can imagine that we were a bit nervous as we stood around at the Quai d'Orsay with our pens in our hands, but not knowing whether there's going to be anything to sign or not. Now, the agreement was reached through this intensive effort by these two leaders, and it is another example of how they showed the statesmanship to put first things first and to do away with this age-old problem. So that now be approved by the German responsible parliamentary bodies. So Germany in that respect will be just like the other Allied countries. Then after the four had met, then we went on to a meeting of
Mrs. Hobby and gentlemen,
o'clock in the morning, still turning.
That the Soviet Union will react to the Paris Agreement, particularly.
I agree with you. He ought to tell us the story.
Well, I would say that I feel pretty confident the Soviet Union doesn't like what's going on. Perhaps that's an understatement of the day. What the communists want is a Europe that is weak and divided, and they're going to try to get that, but I don't think that they are going to succeed. This program we worked out, in fact, is going to protect Russia as much as it protects anybody else against the possible resurgence of German militarism. And there's behind this program this sense of urgency and momentum, so I don't believe the Soviet Union will be able to break it up. When we create, as I hope we will, a position of solidity and strength for Western Europe, then there may be a new basis for discussion which doesn't exist at the present time. A lot of detailed work has to be done, but that's the main outline of what's happening.
Buster, I feel like we almost ought to give you a standing ovation. You know how intensely I believe that the safety and security of the Western world demanded unity and strength in Western Europe. Now that that gives every promise of coming about, I can't tell you how gratified I am, not just for myself, but for the entire American people. And your colleagues, thank you for this brilliant presentation. Really, we do.
Well, thank you very much, sir.